Hi and welcome to another video by me. This one's going to be going over, as the title would kind of depict, my two Gordon Smith guitars. I'm looking down there because the other one is sitting there. So yeah, my old original Gordon Smith that I've had for quite a few years. There's a story behind it, and that kind of is covered in the original video I done with this guitar, but briefly, I got a guitar for a birthday when I was 16 years old. Generally speaking, family doesn't have money, but mum and dad came into some money and decided to spoil me by buying me a guitar. And it was a Dean, when Dean started sort of reintroducing guitars, when sort of Dimebag was in his heyday, etc. And it's like a Far Eastern made HSH configuration with a Floyd Rose copy bridge, etc. It was about 300 and something English pounds for Queen's sterling, but it never really sort of boded too well with me. It's always a little bit too fancy. It had a very nice top on it and stuff like that, but it's obviously all going to be a cheap veneer, no doubt, or even a just some kind of transfer to kind of, you know, give the illusion of timber. But yeah, I didn't really get on with it, and a friend who worked in a local guitar shop who was in a band, but as you do when you're a teenager, you kind of like grab onto a hero, and that hero is then your idol and the person you kind of almost want to be, and he had a Gordon Smith. He had the single cutaway, the sort of Les Paul shape. He in fact had a Gibson pickup in the bridge. And that was that. And then one day I just walked into a guitar shop, another local guitar shop, and they had this sitting there second hand. This is 1989, and I bought it in mid to early 90s, so it was only a few years old, but it had been gigged. Most of the marks, well, some of the marks that are on this now were on that when I bought it. But there's been a few. I mean, this has always been my workhorse guitar. The few little sort of bandy kind of things I have been in, this has always gone to the gigs and stuff, because it is just, that is what it is. It's kind of what the old Gordon Smiths were designed to do. I was seen a lot on like the punk circuit, etc., and the indie rock circuit, just because they're just workhorses, you know. It's a simple plank of mahogany. So you've got this, which is Gordon, and so this is a GS2, this is a GS1, and this is Smithers. Both relatively the same, both the same scale length, Gibson scale length, 24 3/4. Both mahogany construction with, I believe, a rosewood fingerboard, 22 frets. This one's got the stock pickups in, which are both coil split. I believe the tuners have been changed at some point, though they are still the same brand as that are what in the GS1. Whether they've just been moved, because there's drill holes on the back of the headstock. About the only thing I've done is change the tailpiece, because it had a wraparound stop bar, which I changed for a Tune-o-matic wraparound kind of deal. And that's that. Bit beaten up, but love him. And then we go on to Smithers. Smithers I only bought last year. Yeah, bought him as a project. I've got him cheap because he had a cracked headstock, which has been fixed. Doweled it, glued it, screwed it. Like I say, it's still got the same tuners as the other model, which I believe are Schallers, you know, SCHALLER. Made in Germany, would kind of give that away. But yeah, since that, the headstock been fixed, it really holds its tune very, very, very well. Potentially even better than the old GS2. Original bridge on this, which is I believe again is a Schaller, which is meant to have like little Floyd Rose style micro tune poles on the back. But it only came with two, and I'm having trouble sourcing the others. Brass Both of these, I forgot to mention, have a brass nut, a brass adjustable nut. And this one has got brass saddles. But bizarrely, this one, I think, sounds a little bit darker than the original one, but that may be more to do with the pickups. This one, I have swapped out the pickup, mainly because the other one just looked awful. It looked like it had been painted at some point and was a bit tatty. And I always fancied an bare knuckle pickup. And this one came up on eBay last year, and my girlfriend bought it for me for Christmas. It's a Rebel Yell. And the only other thing I've done is the input on these is usually on the front, like on a Les Paul Junior. But I don't like that sort of tendency of hitting the cable with your hand unless you're using a right angle jack plug, which then sometimes doesn't fit in other guitars, i.e. Strats, etc. And I've even got a Telecaster with quite a deep jack plug, which you can't get that into. So you end up pissing about having to change guitar leads. I prefer them down there out of the way. So I drilled the body and moved the jack into the bottom, and I replaced the jack hole with a bass contour. So whereas the tone rolls off treble, this rolls off bass, to give the kind of impression of a coil split humbucker. Anyway, I shall go to sounds. Right, we're going to go through both amps, just because they're set up like this at the minute. The Black Star will be slightly panned to the left and the Vox slightly to the right, as per usual. The Black Star will have a JHS modded soul food running through it on its clean channel, and the Vox is just in its relatively natural, slightly overdriven state. I'll start, unlike me, on the bridge pickup, just because after that I want to concentrate on the neck pickup, because I want to concentrate on the bridge pickup to obviously compare pickups with the one that's been replaced. So, bridge humbucker. I'll go completely clean. Split. I really love the sound of the neck humbucker split, so much so that I do actually play it most of the time when I'm flicking into the neck, mainly for kind of quieter ambient moments. I quite often use it in the split pickup mode, so much so I may even, there must be a way of wiring it so when you pull the volume pot up, it changes it to humbucker, and then down in its normal state it's split coil. Must be a way of doing that. I'll have to look into it. Anyway, I'm thinking whilst making this video. Both pickups. Both split. Bridge humbucker. Just with the soul food on that pickup. So the Rebel Yell in full humbucker mode with the tone on full and the bass contour on full. now roll the bass off. It sounds like the tone pot needs replacing as well. I don't really dabble with the tone too much. So yeah, and then quickly go to, I'll put amp distortion on the Black Star, and I'll chuck a bit of my long amp ultra distortion tube screamer clone on the Vox. Definitely a lot brighter with the bass cut, which is kind of what I wanted, because the Gordon Smith GS2, or Gordon, is, yeah, obscenely bright at times, especially when the humbuckers split. Full humbucker. And there we have it, pretty much. That's the two pickups kind of compared side by side. I'll perhaps just quickly chuck them into a bit of a tune that I've kind of done in the past, and see how they compare there. And that's it. A long journey, it seems, or it certainly seems for me recording this, swapping guitars backwards and forwards. But anyway, I hope of this some interest to those watching. I hope so, as you've kind of searched a Gordon Smith in one way, shape or form. But yeah, that's it. The comparison of the two guitars and the two pickups as such. Yeah, I hope of some interest to you. Please do subscribe, hit the like button, etc. As I have quite often said, comments are welcome, constructive criticism is welcome. Trolling isn't. Trolling's just being an arsehole. So yeah. Cheers for taking the time to watch, and yeah, please check out some of my other videos. Cheers, bye bye.